Is SYFE Cash Plus possibly the best cash solution right now in the market? Now in this video, you're going to hear a few parts. I'll be comparing SYFE Cash Plus against other portfolios and solutions in the market right now. I'll be addressing the risk for you, and also I'll be showing the projected returns as well as the actual returns. Then in the next part of the video, I'll be showing you what has been driving performance, year-to-date performance. I'll give you a breakdown as to the funds that is being invested into, and it helps you understand moving forward what to expect from this portfolio itself. And last but not least, in this video, you'll be hearing how you can actually get started right now with account opening with SYFE. And with that, I'll also leave a bonus referral link towards the end of the video. So if this topic interests you, continue watching on. Hi guys, welcome back. Now let's address whether SYFE Cash Plus is indeed the best cash solution right now in the market. And we will start off with this summary table. You realize that in terms of projected returns, SYFE Cash Plus stands out, correct? 1.5% per annum in terms of projected return. Again, non-guaranteed, but projected. So stay on. The second part of the video, I will be showing you what is driving these projections. Is it realistic or not? You get your answers in a while. Also, I draw attention to two other key benefits. In terms of minimum initial deposit, you realize that SYFE Cash Plus, no deposit requirements, which means you can start with any amount. You can do $100, you can do $1,000, you can do $100,000. It really doesn't matter. So it's very flexible in that sense. It compares well against other alternative platforms. And in terms of withdrawal time, something that's also pretty important if you want this money to be liquid, you realize that 2 to 3 business days stands out very well against its competitors. If you, for example, choose Singapore savings bond, you do know that there's a lag time. You sell a bond, you only get cashed out the next following month. And then the returns for Singapore savings bond April issue is actually not that fantastic. I've done the homework, I pull it up for you to see right now. If, for example, you have in mind renovations needed next year or the year after, if you keep it for a year with the April issue of Singapore savings bond, it's only at 0.37%. If you keep it for 2 years, average returns of 0.51%. Now, either of this is still a far cry from what you can get from projected returns of SYFE Cash Plus. That's why it could be a very suitable vehicle if you need to park monies for a near-term saving target. So your question may be, is this portfolio capital guaranteed or SDIC protected? The quick answer is actually no. This is an investment after all. It's not a fixed deposit, neither is it an insurance plan. This question was actually brought up in the Q&A session with underlying fund manager LionGlobal. I'll leave links below to the interview. I've looked through it. It's an hours long, so just help me smash on the like button. So in this research, I've also found out some other answers which I'll present along in this tutorial. So while it's not capital guaranteed, this is meant to be a very low risk solution. Park your cash inside, not having big up and down movements. So when you need it for a future use, that amount is kind of ready for you to be deployed straight away. So in the next part of this video, I'll touch on exactly what are the underlying funds, what kind of risk profile they are. In this section, you're going to understand what is exactly driving the projected returns of 1.5% for SYFE Cash Plus. And it starts by understanding the composition of this portfolio. It's consisting of 3 funds. The first is LionGlobal SGD Money Market Fund. The second is LionGlobal Enhanced Liquidity Fund. And the third is LionGlobal Short Duration Bond Fund Class I. Breakdown composition, 30%, 35%, 35%. So what is these 3 funds bringing to the table for this portfolio itself? You realize that the LionGlobal SGD Money Market Fund only brings 0.95% in terms of projected net yield, whereas the LionGlobal Short Duration Bond Fund brings in 1.92% projected net yield. And why is there a difference between these 3 funds itself? And it starts by understanding 2 key parts, which is at the bottom of this summary table. The weighted duration as well as the average credit rating. In simple layman terms, weighted duration means how sensitive this fund is to interest rate movements. If it's a small number, that means interest rates go up and down, it really doesn't matter at all. So for the LionGlobal Money Market Fund, it's only at 0.49, whereas the LionGlobal Short Duration Bond is at 2.06. Both still relatively small numbers, which means not sensitive to interest rate movements too much. In terms of average credit rating, that goes to show how much risk is there in the bond in terms of a default situation. So for both the LionGlobal SGD Money Market Fund and LionGlobal Enhanced Liquidity Fund, they are both average credit rating of A. Whereas the LionGlobal Short Duration Bond Fund is actually BBB rated, so slightly higher risk in terms of the profile. So when you have these three combined in the portfolio, what is the actual performance of things? You realize this summary table actually shows you a very slow and steady performance chart. And indeed right now it's delivering 0.49% up to 31st of March 2021. And with that, I can actually show this further table to illustrate how the breakdowns have actually contributed to this overall performance. Overall return since launch, 0.49%. LionGlobal Short Duration Bond Fund actually put in a lot of performance in 7th January to 31st January, correct? 0.4%. So that was actually a key surge in things. And in February also did very well. So if we want to see in terms of a chart perspective, what does it actually look like? I've actually prepared it for you also. You realize that these three, when they are plotted together, they show the profile very quickly to you. LionGlobal Short Duration Bond Fund is actually the yellow line over there. So it's actually moved up quite a bit in January and February, and it kind of flattened off in March. So the next question you may have is that fund risky or not? What is the maximum drawdown? So when we look in terms of that Q&A that they've done with the fund manager LionGlobal, it's also mentioned that previously in history, there were some periods where the drawdowns were a bit stronger. And if I refer to the chart mentioned by the fund manager, you realize that in June 2013, there was actually Fed tapering, and that fund actually lost 2.4%. When it came to COVID-19, March 2020, that fund actually lost 2.6%. So indeed, there are periods whereby this fund, LionGlobal Short Duration Bond Fund, can actually have periods of drawdown. But having said that, it's also consistently rebounded after a drawdown period. So if you like that fund, your next question might be, can I actually buy this fund, just this fund, from SYFE Cash Plus itself? The quick answer is actually no. This was actually brought up in the Q&A also. But there are two key parts I'd like to highlight to you, because you can do indeed buy this fund individually. But if you do so, there are two things to take note. The first, if you buy as a retail investor, you can only buy the Class A. You can't buy the Class I, which is what this fund is actually investing into. And if you look in terms of 1 year performance, you realize that there's a gap. When you buy as an institution, the rates are slightly better. It makes sense. The second part is the overall trader rebates. If you buy this fund individually from platforms, you are not able to get the overall trader rebates, whereby SYFE Cash Plus is promising you 0.3%. So there are two factors working for you. If you buy SYFE Cash Plus, instead of buying these funds individually and picking which is better, leave it to SYFE Cash Plus to manage the overall portfolio for you, and there are actually no fees that they charge for it. So let's recap together. 100% trader free rebate, 0% in terms of management fees, 0% when it comes to entry and exit, and last but not least, you can actually move SYFE Cash Plus monies to any portfolio you have in SYFE with just a click of a button. One of which is the SYFE REIT Plus, which I've done in a previous video. I'll leave links below and towards the end of this tutorial. There's also a new recurring transfer feature for the Cash Plus if you'd like to use it for dollar cost averaging into other SYFE investment portfolios such as the core portfolios or the REIT Plus portfolio or the Equity 100 portfolio. And you can actually edit, pause or cancel or do recurring transfers anytime, so do take note of that. So if you're looking to open one account right now, let me show you quick steps. Okay, simply head to SYFE, look for the Cash Plus. Over there, enter your details as well as your email address. It will next bring you to a series of questions, which is your nationality, which is your investment objective, which is your financial situation. And with that, you can actually start building your own portfolio. This screen should appear over here, and you will realize that projected returns of 1.5% should be there. The composition is as what we have discussed in this tutorial. If it's okay, move on to confirm the portfolio and you move to this page over here. Simply input how much you intend to get invested. Is it a lump sum? Is it a regular monthly optional amount? Input those portions, and if that is okay, move on to the next part, whereby you can actually create your account already. There's actually a referral code portion over here. Click on it, input ASTUTEPARENT. And you may be thinking, since this portfolio is actually free, what is the use of this referral code? If you have inputted this referral code, subsequently, if you choose to move some of this Cash Plus into their REIT Plus portfolio, you get a 6 months free waiver that will be applied subsequently. So do definitely take advantage of that. And with that, the account can be set up and completed using my info. Now, hopefully you've benefited, and if you are keen to find out more on SYFE, there's actually a previous tutorial I've done before, which is actually the REIT Plus portfolio. With that, it helps you get invested in the best Singapore REITs That tutorial definitely answers a lot more questions as to how you can get invested successfully with REIT Plus. With that, I'll sign off. Thank you for watching till here. I'll see you in a future video. Take care and goodbye.